In defense of human rights, journeying with the people towards justice and peace. In the Philippines, churches play a significant role in the promotion and protection of human rights, rooted in the belief that humans are created in God's image. Churches are driven by faith in working to ensure that God's image within the human person is not violated and the dignity that it confers is never diminished. The National Council of Churches in the Philippines, or NCCP, has a strong human rights commitment forged in the 1970s during martial law and sustained to the present. Since then, the NCCP and the ecumenical movement in the Philippines have acted as a focal point for wider human rights advocacy.
Salamat sa pagkakataong kami magsama-sama.
Aside from lending its prophetic voice to denounce human rights violations, the NCCP and its partners also accompany human rights organizations and the basic sectors of society in fact-finding missions, lobbying,
image. When rights are denied and violated,
mobilizations, and other forms of advocacy. They also provide education and training for human rights work in tandem with other human rights organizations. The NCCP and its partners in the ecumenical movement
Kami bilang mga taong simbahan, we stand for truth because people are dying and people are made to suffer.
also accompany the victims and or families of victims of human rights violations to file legal cases against perpetrators. They also help victims of human rights violations and their families by providing protection, such as sanctuary and support for those under continued threat, including those potential witnesses against perpetrators. The NCCP provides support for those violated in their quest for justice and their efforts to rebuild their lives.
Si Brother June ang nagturo sa akin tungkol sa Rise Up for Life and for Rights, at siya na po ang naging duktungan kung bakit ko po nakilalang Rise Up, ang mga staff ng Rise Up, at doon na po nagsimula ang lahat at hanggang sa nakapag-file na kami ng kaso sa Ombudsman noong last September 28, 2017.
Beyond these is the ability of the churches to tap its international ecumenical networks for human rights engagement, especially in lobbying foreign governments and intergovernmental bodies like the United Nations. There were victories. However, human rights violations continue. Even church people are not spared, including members of the NCCP.
Intensifying attacks against rural missionaries, activists, and human rights advocates.
Ay pagpapatuloy din ng ating pagtatalaga, mag-iingay para sa katarungan.
In the face of rampant human rights violations, the National Council of Churches in the Philippines remains steadfast in our concern for human rights based on Christian discipleship, witness, and solidarity. Jesus Christ Himself, the prophets, and the Gospels underscore the concern for human rights as an expression of that discipleship. And this concern for human rights is a vital expression of the discipleship demanded by our Lord Jesus Christ for the total and integral well-being of humanity. You can take a look at Amos chapter 5 verses 10 to 24, or Luke chapter 4 verses 18 to 19, or Matthew chapter 22 verses 34 to 40, and other similar biblical citations. The Christian mandate to serve fellow human beings in their needs, as far as human rights is concerned, means the preservation of humanity in the long run, the protection of all persons, and guarantee that persons created in the image of God will benefit equitably from the abundance of God's creation and continuing providence.